Hey, it's me, Freddy Lecamus, and I'm going to make this video because, to be frank with you, the last few videos I made, I feel like I wasn't being myself. I'm quite a passionate guy. I'm quite motivated. I'm quite aggressive, not towards people, obviously, but towards reaching my goals. And I thought, you know what? This is going to be the start of a new series called Dominate Your Market, right? It's going to let dental practices finally dominate their local area and basically stop you from having the stress of dealing or feeling any stress to do with your competition, especially if your competition is a corporate. The reason I wanted to make this video, as I mentioned, was because every time I'd record a video, I'd sit down, I'd look through my script. I was hoping that it'd be valuable to people. And in most cases, it is, to be honest. It's not that my videos were necessarily bad, but there was no way that my personality was coming through in those videos. And my personality is what's allowed me to be successful at such a young age. And I want you to experience the same success through aggression that you have towards winning in your market. And it is a competition. Business is a competition. And dentists aren't excluded from that competition. So, this is the part where I explain that the competition isn't going to wait for you, that you will be squashed, you will be destroyed by your competition if you don't step up your game and do something about it. And the overarching reason I make these videos is because I know that if you don't do the best that you can do, you're not going to be helping as many people as possible. And my best friend Collier's life changed when he was helped by an orthodontist, and getting orthodontic treatments. And then he was able to smile again confidently. So, the guide's going to be very long, but I'm splitting it up into different parts. So this is going to be part one, and dominating your market. This is a simple guide to becoming the alpha dental practice. So the agenda, this isn't for today, but for the overarching guide, it's going to be sizing up the competition, where your value comes from, having your back straight and your shoulders back, your origin story, the never-ending battle, how to win the war, becoming the local dentist, stealing your competition's patients, leading your local area in education, informing an army, and then conquering. So in this video, sizing up the competition is going to be our main focus. So this is the foundations of you being able to dominate your market. Without you knowing who you're up against, there's no way you'd win. Because there are two people or two parties, let's say, because they're not going to be individuals, two people or two practices or two individuals that you're going to be focused on, and that's yourself and your competition. Now, what you want to do is understand who you're competing against. So first of all, you want to create a hit list. And creating a hit list means you're becoming ruthless. Okay? Because there's no way you're going to beat your competition without being ruthless. All those people you see winning dentistry awards, do you think they woke up one morning and were like, you know what, today I'm just going to do the mediocre things. I'm not going to push me and my team to do anything particularly substantial. I'm just going to do things normally. Now, when I was first revising my A levels, I looked at what others were doing. I saw that most of them were revising 4 to 5 hours a day. And I thought, 4 to 5 hours, if that's the minimum that people are doing, how can I do more? And I thought, okay, what if I do 7 hours? And I tried 7 hours. It wasn't super effective. But then I tried 4 focused hours. And I did a lot more than my peers in the same amount of time. Now, that doesn't just mean you need to work smarter, not harder. It means you need to do both. But also it means you need to understand who you're up against. So planning your rise, not your enemy's downfall, is the most important thing. I never sabotaged anyone obviously, during my revision. I didn't spend my time messaging people telling them, hey, let's do something, because by sabotaging them, you're sabotaging yourself. You want to do your market research, and then you want to execute the plan. So, creating the hit list, being ruthless. So, creating a hit list and being ruthless looks a bit like this, right? You have your hit list, and this is my hit list. Okay? My hit list, if I were you, would be my dentist, Portman Dental, Coliseum Dental, and then any other independent practice in your area. Again, the point of this hit list is for you to be ruthless. I might have forgotten Bupa Dental Care in there, but you get my point. Anyone that isn't you is your enemy. Because otherwise, what you've done is just built a relationship with someone, which is great, right? Networking is amazing. But if you've built that relationship and you haven't actually gained any momentum from it, then you haven't created a network. You haven't actually created a relationship. You've created a drainage of your energy. You've created a system that drains you of your power and your drive to do better. And I'm going to show you this illustration to show you why you should focus on yourself and on others. So, I'm sure you've heard of the story where the man is in a competition on who can build the highest wall. And after laying a few bricks, completely inaccurately and terribly, he sees that his competition has actually done a substantial amount and has made decent progress and has put a lot less effort than he has. So what he decides to do is break up his bricks and use them as throwing stones. So now he doesn't have any bricks to build anymore, and his foundation is pretty shitty. But his competition is having their walls cracked. But because their foundation is so solid, and you have to admit, in most times your competition's foundation is solid, nothing's done here. Nothing detrimental has been caused by this man. So, if the competition continued, who do you think would win? Do you think it'd be the man with the slightly cracked walls? Or do you think it'd be the man that barely has anything created, that's used his bricks to create stones that are now just rubbled on the floor? Of course the first man's going to win. The second one's wasted his energy, his potential, and he hasn't done anything. Now, look at the other scenario. The first man has built a solid foundation, right? Nothing's cracked, nothing's destroyed, and he's slowly getting there, but he's getting there a lot quicker than the second man. But the second man now focuses on his foundations. And once he's focused on his foundations, he's been able to make huge leaps forward, and this is important, aggressive leaps forward that these people won't take, right? That you will take, but not those people. So he took the risks that the first man didn't take. He was able to carry boulders, he was able to carry bricks much larger than him, and it was stressful at times, and he didn't know if he could make it. But that's when he built the momentum of putting this huge brick up, that he was able to make a lot more than the first man. If you look at this wall, it's a lot larger than the first wall. The second man has not only built a wall, right? He's built a literal message to the first man, showing his dominance and showing his power. And that's what you want to do to your competition. You don't want to focus on beating your competition down. That's not going to do anything for you. In fact, it's probably going to, be worse than what he's done here, because your foundation is going to be terrible, but you probably won't even have a foundation. And worst of all is that the second man has actually done nothing. In the sense that, in this scenario, you not marketing, you not being aggressive and pushing yourself forward with your practice, means you have achieved nothing. You are probably worse off than the second man. At least the second man has done something at the start. The first man won in this scenario, but the first man was destroyed in this one because of the aggression and the determination of the second man. And that's what you want to have. You want to have the capacity, the capabilities to build a huge wall to make sure that anyone who's competing against you is simply in your shadow. When people are booking an appointment or when people are researching dental practices in your area, you want to make sure your wall is so high that they go, wow, I mean, it's pretty obvious who I'm going to try and book an appointment with. And as a little note, do you really think people care how much it's going to cost, to have this wall done for them? How solid this wall is? How protective it is? How much it can be decorated? Do you really think your patients are going to care how much it costs to have a consultation with you? Because they know you're going to give them the best possible care and they know that you're capable of that? No, they don't care. They won't care. And of course, they might go with the first wall. But guess what? Instead of 70, 80% going to the first wall, it's only going to be 2, 3%. That's how dominant you're going to be in your market. And to better understand your market, you need to watch my other video about creating a whole new market and the market share. But I'm going to break it down for you here slightly. You see, the people you're able to get to right now is only 3%. It's the 3% of the entire market in your local area that are probably going and showing up to you. Because guess what? These people are desperate. These people know what they want. And yeah, I mean, they might have seen you. They might have heard from you. They might have been a referral. But guess what? You're missing on the 97% that you could possibly get. And you're even missing on the 17% that's in research mode. Because after doing a bit of research about yourself, about your practice, sure, they found out it's family owned, it's independent. But guess what? They found that the corporates near you are a lot better and cheaper. So what do you think they're going to do? Do you think when they become part of the 3% that are buying that they're going to go to you? No. I'm sorry to be harsh, but that's the truth. But luckily, the point of you watching this video is to understand that you can get that 17%. You can have the entire 20% share of the market that is in either research mode or buying. You can have that 20%. And this 80%, that's all up in the air, to be honest. Nobody has this 80%. You can market to the 80%. To know how to do that specifically, again, you should go watch the video. I'll link it in the description. But are you happy with just the 3%? I'm guessing you're not. And you shouldn't be. And I'm glad you're not. I'm glad you've got something inside you that wants to push further than that. Because you will. And once you do, you'll easily grab that 17%. And once you do, your wall is going to be so much higher than your competition. Finally, I want you to look at where you are now and where you want to be when. If this isn't the now, you have to ask yourself, when is this? When is the domination? Because the present is only causing you stress. You don't have as many patients as you could have. You're not spending the time you want to be spending doing the things you love. You're spending the time doing things that you shouldn't be doing. In the sense that a practice owner shouldn't be completely focused on marketing, for example. A practice owner shouldn't be focused on being in the chair all the time, unless, of course, you want to. You shouldn't be there 5, 6 times a week. You should be there 4, 3, even 2 times a week because of the amount of patience you have and the team you've built and the freedom you've built for yourself. And worst of all, and this is the part that really hurts me, is that you're not helping as many people as possible. Right now, you are not helping as many people as possible. Let that sink in. Who are you helping right now? Your current patients. Who are you not helping? Everyone else who's going to a different practice. That's who you're not helping. Everyone else who sat at home trying to look for a practice and they can't find one as good as you because you know you have a good practice. You just don't know how to build it in the market. Right now, those people aren't getting the help they deserve. And that's your fault. But you're going to change that because you're in this business to help people. It's about people and it's about you. It's about you building the best wall you can build to help as many people as possible. Who are people going to call upon when there's rain, when there's a thunderstorm, when there's an emergency? Are they going to call on this first little wall? Or are they going to call on the huge, powerful wall that has taken time to build? And once the momentum was there, it was built with passion, with love. Because that's what people are missing. So when are you going to be the dominant one? When are you going to have the freedom you have, the time and financial freedom? When are you going to have the best team possible in your local area? When are you going to do less work, right? Doing things that leverage your activities. When are you going to have more power? Now, don't pretend that you don't want more power, because I do, and I know you do as well. And when are you going to get that domination that's going to give you the money? When are you going to dominate your market so you can make a 7-figure, right? A 6-figure monthly run rate, a 7-figure practice year after year? When are you going to do that? Because right now you're not doing that. You don't have that many patients to do that. You don't have the best team that you could have. So when are you going to do that? And I'm going to take you back to, in my opinion, the most important thing in this, the foundation of it all. It's the hit list. Who are you determined to beat? Who is it that you're competing against right now? Because if it's just some imaginary person, or it's just, in general, I'm just competing against people in my local area, there's nothing that's going to push you to beat them. I have something on my wall right now, and I look at it every day, along with a dozen other things on my wall to remind myself, right? But this is something I have written on my wall right in front of you, and I'm going to read it out to you. And it's important to me because it reminds me that there is someone out there against me, and I do need to beat them. But I need to beat them by being the best version of me, not by bringing them down. And this is what it says. If it's not you, then it's someone else. It's a competition. And I hold that dear to me in everything. If it's not me that's pushing myself every day, then it's someone else. And they're going to beat me in the competition once I come against them. If it's not me building the wall and building the best wall I can, then it's someone else. It's a competition and they're going to win. But once you realize it is you and you can win, and that of course it's a competition, right? Don't listen to anyone who tells you just do your own thing, you'll do it amazing. No, you're competing against others. You need to know who you're competing against, because if you know them well, you know how to beat them. Build this wall that the second man built, because it's this wall that lays the foundation for your success. Now, if you've enjoyed the video, leave me a thumbs up, just so I can continue the series. If you are wanting to follow the series along, feel free to subscribe. That way you can get notifications whenever I upload the next one. The next one will be focused on, if we go back, where your value comes from, which is important in knowing how you're going to market yourself. Because a lot of the times we put value forward as something that is useful, but really value is different to that. And you need to know where your value comes from. If there are two people selling apples, and one of them knows exactly where the apple comes from, they know exactly how juicy it is, they know exactly how sweet it is, they know exactly how healthy it is. They're going to sell a lot more apples than the second apple seller, who, to be frank, is selling the same apples, they just don't know much about them. So I'll see you in the next video. Again, feel free to subscribe, leave me a comment if you have any questions. And there's a link on the top of the description. It's a video of me trying to sell you something, just to be completely transparent, but it is me trying to help you work with as many patients as possible. If you can handle 100 or so extra booked appointments, then check it out. If not, no worries at all. I'll see you next video. Take care of yourself. Have a lovely day, week, weekend. I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching.